Okay, quick sound check just to see if everything is correct. Should be right. Sound off, you can hear me in case something may have went wrong. Okay, welcome back everybody to another day of Voyager streaming. So today, what I've been doing yesterday is the night, and today is I'm trying to make this page, which is basically it's gonna be like a page of basically when you a page showing all the classes in the game. So when you sort of open the PDF or the book, before you get to the full list and descriptions of the classes, you would first encounter this page, and this one was inspired from this page from Pathfinder, where Pathfinder also had this kind of page where it sort of shows you all the playable races and classes in like a sort of introduction page before going into the rest. So basically for the rest of the stream I'm going to be doing that page, the sort of introduction page, as well as just figuring out other stuff that I need to add visually to the book to sort of make it more accessible and interesting to look at for readers. Eventually I want to figure out how to do this thing, which is I do want to figure out how to do this, which is like a little reference tab at the side of the book that lets you actually check which section of the book you're on. So that's something I want to do eventually, but not today, because today we're gonna do this. So each adventure in the book is divided into 4 roles, and each of the 4 roles has about 4 to 6 adventures within that role. All of them, I have 8 spaces now, just because making space in case there's like extra adventures I want to make later on, which I very much assume there will be, just based on what people have been saying that they've wanted. So I'm gonna leave extra slots for those, and just what I've been doing for the past 1 or 2 hours is just sort of figuring out what sort of visuals I want to sort of figure out how to format everything, and I've sort of reached on one that I've liked. So I've sort of took a lot of reference from like gacha games or similar types of things where you have like these sort of character screens, and I've just been sort of studying them, like how they use like typography, logos, what sort of borders they use, how do they section off certain parts of the boxes. So I've just been sort of studying a lot of these, and I think I sort of reached one that I kind of like. So just an explanation of the roles real quick. So there are 4 main playable roles, which each venture may belong to. The Valiant is a mobile and versatile fighter, meaning it's a fairly versatile role that can do a little bit of everything. They can move around, they can shoot, attack, cast magic, so they don't have any particular specialization, but they can sort of excel at most things effectively. Then we have the Vanguard. The Vanguard is basically like a tank or a healer class, healer role, where they have tools that lets them soak up damage from allies or heal allies. The Striker is basically the DPS class. They just focus on defense, DPS damage and getting rid of enemies. And then the Watcher is kind of the mage role, but not necessarily. It's more of a role that has long range and has a lot of control type abilities that can like debuff enemies or buff allies, or affect the terrain and battlefield. So those are the 4 main roles, and I'm gonna basically start filling them all out. Yeah, say what you will about gacha games, but they have very good aesthetics and menus, makes them feel good to play. Yeah, I mean, even for like Arknights, even before I started playing the game, I was really interested in the game just because of the aesthetics of it, and of course Voyager tactics takes a lot of inspiration and reference from Arknights, from just its general the vibe of it, of like, you know, the tech wear and animal people and some tropes of like that, as well as parts of its aesthetic. And I've been playing it for the past year or two. Well, not 2 years, I'd say about a year, and I've been really liking it so far, and I hope to it's also something to kind of strive for, I guess, because Arknights has enjoyed a good amount of success, and expanded to include, you know, a lot of fan art and official content. So that's something I hope to strive for with Voyager's world as well. So now what we're doing here is I was about to arrange these layers. Hey Caboose, welcome to the stream. Just doing tabletop shit. Okay, so here. So at first I was doing these line borders for the different adventure pictures. So this was the draft I was using. Then which had like this kind of golden border. But after looking at some of these other ones, I realized that a lot of them do not have borders. They instead rely on, you know, other types of decorative elements or shadows in order to separate. Like you can see the shadows here. So I kind of like that a bit more. It has a very clean look to it. So eventually I shifted to this. So I'm gonna use this instead. So what I want to do is I want to start replacing all of these borders with these boxes, and to do that I need to, okay, so shadow, this is a shadow, I need to label them. So this is the top one. Actually no, I can just fill them, that'll be actually easier. So if I do this, no, it's not it. Right, this one. So if I do this, I can just straight away fill it. Okay, so I'm gonna fill them out first so that later I can make like a mask, basically to delineate the area. So for the War Sanguis, I want to, actually I need to separate them. I need need to separate every one of them. So let me get the polyline tool and select. I need to do this for basically every single one, so it's going to be quite a bit of painstaking work. So this is the top one. So I need to label them A. This is B. This is B shadow. Is it B shadow? Huh. No. Right. Yeah, I do need to separate them. So this is C. And this would be... What is this? Oh. Get rid of this. This is D. Separate this. I'm gonna have to do this for every single one, I think. So it's going to be pretty tedious work. E, F, G, right, G and H. Okay, so for the Wasanguis, so this is the text. So there's a lot of layers going on. So this is the right. So this is the one. So then I need to select this, and then right, because the background is red. I will need to remember to put this white. Okay. And then I need to make shadows for every single one of them. Okay. No, I think I can select. I think I can select all of them another way. Yes, I can do this. So if I do this, put the shadow outside of this layer, select the entire folder, we get rid of the shadow layer, 50. Select this entire layer, make a new shadow layer, Vanguard shadow. Okay, make this black. Blur tool, Gaussian blur 55. And then from down, opacity 50. And there we go. We have the shadows of this. They could probably be lighter. Based on, yeah, they can definitely be lighter, these shadows. Does 30 work? Maybe they need to be less out. I guess that works. Yeah, sure, why not? So then I need to add text descriptions for them as well. So each of them has the title of the class and a little bit of short description of what the class you could expect from the class. So this is Sanguis Blood Shaman. 1241021. Okay. Then we copy this for the field medic. Field. So So it's just going to be a lot of tedious work of just going about and rearranging layers, doing a layer mask, so basically a lot of this kind of stuff. Field medic. And this would be, I guess, combat ready healer. Don't need to be too long. Tactical. What should I call this? I'll just call him a battle healer for now. So this one, the name's a bit longer, so I need to increase the mask for this. So and then of course eventually when we have more finished colored illustrations with them, I can actually go in and replace these images with the actual finished illustrations, of course. So next we want to take the Drake knot. So we'll take this one. Images here. Okay. Let's see. This is D. So I need to put this a bit lower. That works. Then make a new this. No, this will be under here. Okay. So this is a Drake knot. Artillerist. Okay. Alright, field medic. Just increase this a bit. Alright, so these are the only playable vanguards so far, so I'm going to hide the rest of them. Oh, I need to make a mask then. Make a mask and hide the rest of these other ones. Okay. We do not need this layer anymore. I do need this one. So for this one, I'm just gonna make a quick label for it because this is for a future planned venture. So I'm just gonna put this here so that I actually am reminded of to do it later. So this is, I don't have a name for it yet, but it's the cavalry class because there's been demand for a mounted type of class where you can actually ride an animal or a dragon or something into battle, and that's something I've definitely wanted to make, so I will make a note to include that in the future version. So okay, alright, so we just gotta keep doing this for every single one. So next, I have a list here. Okay. So next is, so the air is next, so that'd be Vesper. Let's grab this one. Okay. So Vesper will be here. Probably make it smaller. Okay. Then I need to make. Before that, I need to fill out all of these. So Border Vanguard is done, Border Valiant is next. Border Valiant, open this. Let me make all of them white. Okay. Separate all of them. No, I can't do that. This and this. Next is the shadow. Yes, the shadow. Whew, this file is just gonna get more and more laggy as time goes on, because this is gonna be a very big file. Opacity 30, Gaussian blur 55, zoom in, not aligned here. They are not quite the same, and that really bothers me. I'll have to figure it out. Might have to redo the shadow actually. Alright, fine. I'll do just that, so that I can keep them consistent. VG shadow. 60, 30. Gaussian blur 55. Okay. That's better. Alright. Okay. Wait. I forgot to put the shadow for those. Okay, never mind. I'll do that after the stream. So next is this. So now I have to separate all of these. Okay. So this is because this thing is here. I'm getting confused looking at it. Let me just cut this part. So I get confused. This is. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. This is A. So then here. Right. So then here. This would be B. Sanguis is probably gonna have to change a lot with the resolve wave system. Yeah, but it won't be that hard to convert actually from what I've been surveying so far, because it would just be a matter of I would think that Sanguis would end up being sort of like you can choose to convert bravery into resolve, and resolve into bravery, so they can sort of like the only class that can actually freely convert health into energy and vice versa. That's the way I'm seeing how their class might play. Okay, that's correct. So A. There we go. Next we need the text. So the venture names and venture images. This is not the right place. Okay. Seamless copy. Actually, Vanguard names. So then let me make a copy of this. Oh boy, this is going to be a big file. Okay, Valiant names, VL names. Then just bring it all the way up. This copy. So that I don't have to move them manually later. It's kind of blocking Vespa's head. That's not it. Names. So here, this is the air. see, so Gam Blade is next. How did I arrange these? Oh, went up and down. Alright. So then Gam Blade will be here. Jet Core Trooper. Jetpack Soldier. Dragonbot. Venator. Label them real quick. This is gonna be I guess a fairly monotonous stream, so feel free to just leave it in the background, because this is all I'm going to be doing for the next 1 or 2 hours, basically just finishing up this page, and hopefully I can finish it in time. I can finish it in time to sort of implement it into the PDF, into the rulebook itself, and show it off. This is a planned venture called the Henshin, so I need to remember to put that in later. Okay, so I need to adjust Vesper's placement. Let's see. I need to probably close these. Alright, so down a bit. Probably Jet Core Trooper. Jet Core Trooper. Jet Core Trooper. This one. Okay. See how big it is. See, okay. Hey, cool. Welcome to the stream. I'm just doing a whole bunch of layer moving and stuff. So this is gonna be all this for the next hour. This is the B. Let's see. Canada. This is D. Okay, the henshin. What else? So the shadow. Let me hide this now. Yeah, I might. Aside from waiting through the lag, I might get this done sooner than expected. Hopefully I can get that done. So let's make a mask of this. Nope, nope. Okay, then get rid of these. Alright, next is we need to do the strikers. So striker has only 3 and watcher has the most classes right now with 6. Increase the shadow on these. That's not correct. here. So for the striker, we have the arms master, the gun drifter, and the assassin. So that would be Suki. Mid. This one. Save before anything wrong happens. Okay. Names, feature, changes. So. So here we'll have the striker names. Blade warrior. I need to figure out what. I need to figure out different subtitles to them later. Next is so we got the gun drifter. assassin doesn't have a picture yet, but we shall leave it there. Gundrifter does have a picture. So class. Let's see. So next is the Watcher. That's the one of the most. Show a full illustration of Arms Master. So this is the Arms Master is just Suki. This is the one. Let me get rid of the background here. So basically, it's your weeb katana combat class, basically. So that's the Arms Master class. Next, I'll need to make for the Watcher. Save it real quick. Taking like a good 10 seconds just to save this whole thing. Mind you, this thing is 8,000 pixels wide, so I need to be careful that it doesn't crash or anything like that. Venture images. Okay, so my striker's done. Next is the Watcher. Okay. Getting to the groove of it, so it's taking less time. The design philosophy reminds me of what you'd see in a Korean MMORPG, like Dungeon Fighter. So what do you mean by that? Because when you say Korean MMO, I normally think of like, or even just MMOs in general. You could mean a lot of things by that, because what I'm thinking is like really elaborate costumes and gear, but I don't think that's really the case in this one. So what do you mean by Korean MMO specifically? anime MMOs that have super varied class types and super varied character designs. Yeah, I guess that is the case. Yeah, because I guess compared to, well, I wouldn't even say compared to other RPGs, because I think in general tabletop RPGs have quite a lot of classes as well. But yeah, the number of classes is quite high for Voyager, I'd say. The ones where you don't really make your own character, you just pick from one established classes. So that's what you mean. Well, yeah, the classes are definitely the main templates here. So each class is sort of like its own playstyle in itself. That's kind of why. So it's not like, because some tabletop RPGs, they give you a bit more freedom. They maybe just like let you build according to certain feats, or you can pick and choose your own spells. But here is definitely each class has its own specific identity and even like very specific mechanics, which is why they have the type of. That's why there's so many of them, because they each have their own stuff going on. And what is going on here? Right. So for here, what do we need to do? So here we got the key bearer. Caps lock. Key bearer. Next is the logist. Oops. So I don't like caps lock. Logist. Exorcer, Elements, I'd almost argue that Exorcer could be a Valiant role instead of a Watcher, but I think they lean a bit more towards a Watcher. Next is Invoker. So that's 5. Key bearer is what would you call magic arcane archer? A logist is a I guess a space-time support. Exorcer is a what would I call it? A specialist. Curing specialist. Elemancer, of course, is an elemental mage. Invoker is a summoner. Yeah. Okay, so then we get pictures of all these. So the key bearer, that would be Estelle. Where do I find her? Here we go. yet divided the boxes yet. So let me do that right now. Okay. AB. So there's a total of, if you count all the actual number of spaces or slots, there is enough space to fit 32 classes adventures onto this page, which I think if we ever get to that amount, that would probably be the maximum. I don't think we're actually gonna have 32 classes here. Oops, that's the wrong letter. But it's nice to have that space just in case we do expand it, because we're still quite a long way away from a full 1.0 release. Slowly but surely the book is getting more fleshed out, but there may be many more classes to come. Alright, so you go here. So make it a bit smaller. Saucer. Let's do the largest first. So the largest is, where is he? There he is. When am I gonna bring Soul back? My dude, Soul is here. She's the armature, technically. See, they're both right next to each other, Soul and Shidane. So yeah, that answers your question. But in terms of, so she's sort of like the, because each venture has its own representative, and Soul is the representative for the armature venture. And I need to move you here. Saucer. Let's see. This guy. Sir, where would that be? This guy. Okay. invoker. The invoker is here. Blocked by the text box. That works. So, to consider what other. Let me just quickly write down what possible other classes I'll need down the line so that I don't forget them. So for this one, hold on, that's not right. So one that I wanted to, let's bring back Vanguard, bring back this square. Bring back the shadow here. That's not good. I did not properly do the shadows here. Let me fix that real quick. So the shadows here need to go. And I had to remake the shadow layer. God, shadow. Select folder, fill black, opacity 30, Gaussian blur 55, and then so for this one, another adventure I know will be in the eventually in the final pass will be the Scott Krieger, which is the monster hunter class, which I already have the art for. It was in one of the previous versions, but later got removed because I didn't mechanically figure them out yet. But this new version, I hope I can insert this character. Where is the? It is currently saving. I need to wait for it. PC is fighting for its life right now. Alright. Can make this bigger. Where would this go? B, C, D, E. maybe a bit higher. Right. So I know those two will be in the later versions. Let me just hide the shadow here. And hide these two. So eventually there will be at least 6 Vanguard ventures. The Henshin, what I'm planning is the Henshin is basically like a magical girl class, but also combined with like a Henshin hero class as well, so like a Kamen Rider, Power Ranger type aesthetic. So there's gonna be like 2 subclasses within Henshin, which is the Super Sentai Warrior type, as well as the magical girl type, and both of them are included in the Henshin archetype. So that will be a fun class to design eventually. But another one was, yeah, there was another Valiant that I wanted to include. Let me get it done here. So no, don't do that. Yeah, because so like the magical girl class will also be like kind of like an idol as well, who basically like in universe they would be like famous performers. So what's the deal with them is how they would actually play is kind of like a bard class, I would think. So they can cast spells, they can fight, they can heal people and do a bunch of different stuff depending on your archetype. So they are like the equivalent of the bard class in this game. So that's the Henshin. And then for this one I need to add no, this is the Vanguard. I need to find the Valiant. The Valiant is here. So for this one, I need to make a copy of the name. So this is the Strider, or maybe the Shard Strider. And the Shard Strider is the equivalent of the Ranger class, and this was also from a previous version that got written out afterward due to the interest of time and production. But for 1.0, the Shard Strider is definitely going to be a class. Basically, the Shard Strider is a Ranger class in that it's a class that utilizes pets, an animal companion, and certain other. It's a lot like the if you were playing like Monster Hunter and you have like your character who goes around, but less of like the Great Sword user, which is more of what the Scarred Krieger is supposed to be right here, and more like the Sword and Shield user, so very mobile, and then they can do stuff like they have these like bugs that they can use to heal or distract foes, and these bugs are sort of like their main class feature that they use. So when you level up this class, you can sort of raise new bugs to do different types of things. What would they call? They were called Venatids. So that knows what they are. Venated. I might change the name, but basically these giant bugs that you can raise, and not just bugs. You can sort of flavor them into whatever you want, like a bird or a lizard or anything. Probably put like some lore notes on what sort of animals you can flavor them as. But basically they're like small creature companions that you train in order to help you hunt monsters and stuff like that. So that's the Shard Strider adventure. What else did I need? So it seems like there would at least be 6 of each. I need to fill out the Watcher slots. So based on player feedback, there's quite a bit of demand for different types of mages, which of course will be where the Watcher role covers. So right now we already have an Magic Archer class, which is the key bearer. We have the Logist, which is sort of like a heavy utility support type of mage. Basically they can slow down. Well, they're not like a full chrono mage or gravity mage, but they have abilities like that that support allies. They can teleport people. Teleportation is sort of their main ability. The Exorcer, which is sort of like an Exorcist class. The Elementor is an Elemental class, and the Evoker, which is a Summoner. What I'm planning next may be the Volaturge, and the Volaturge, I'm not sure if it's gonna make the cut because it has a lot of similarities with the Elementor, but the Volaturge is basically a very specialized blaster caster class. So meaning like if it's planned to be like a very, very straightforward mage class that the meme of like, you play a wizard or sorcerer and you just I cast fireball. That is that class basically, where you don't have to think too much and you have features that just let you do big damage and big damage number and big explosions. It's essentially like a Megumin class, right? So if the features I cook up for it are not too similar with the Elementor, then it will be its own class. Otherwise it might get folded into the Elementor class, because obviously the Elementor does like fire and all that. But if not, then the Volaturge can, if it has enough going for it, it'll be its own class. Which one of the features I know will be part of the Volaturge abilities is the fact that all of their spells, when they cast it, deal like way more damage than like any other class, but it has the added caveat of it also being able to harm your allies. So it is the only venture in the whole game that has friendly fire turned on, because all the other ventures I think do not by default are able to outright harm your allies. But the Volaturge, because they're so powerful and they're supposed to embody the idea of a very volatile, unstable mage, all of their abilities can potentially harm your allies. So part of playing this class is sort of figuring out how to place your explosions, how to control it, things like that. So it might be a fun class to stand alone on its own, because the Elementor is more flavored as like a bender from Avatar, So obviously it's a lot more refined and controlled in the way they cast. So I think the flavor is very different, even if they are also like using elemental magic. So that's the Volatilge. And then another one that was requested by a player who is on the server, I believe was Matt Loki, maybe not Matt Loki, I think it was Midnight that requested it first, Midnight Noir, and she requested an illusionist class. So obviously someone who can charm people and do illusion magic, cast spells that make you sleep and enter your dreams, things like that. So I'll put a note for that here so that I don't forget it, because I think that's definitely a very clear niche, because then obviously this class will have a lot of power in social situations as well, not just combat, because obviously they can influence people and how they think and like to make them do what they want. So it's also a very clear class identity. And then another one, we have like so many more watches compared to the other roles. Assuming we have only one slot left though, I have to pick carefully what the last one would be, because I don't want to extend it to like 9 or 10 more. If I can find where it is, the message that suggested it, there were a few ideas on what other mage classes were missing, if I can find it. So yeah, so illusionist venture is one of them. So mind control, dreams and nightmares, illusion, psychic damage, so that's one. Bard venture, which is the henshin, that's the planned bard venture. A tinker venture, oh yeah, an inventor. I actually had notes for this as well, so I'm gonna include that later. A cavalry venture, that's I already added that under the vanguard role. A water focus venture, so water bending and eldritch horror base. This one is kind of split, so obviously the water bending is more towards Elemancer and eldritch horror is more towards Invoker already. And then rogue, and rogue is already the assassin. So really the only ones to consider is the illusionist and the tinker. And the tinker is interesting because, where would I put it actually? I'm not quite sure where. It might be under Watcher, or it might be under Valiant. There was a class. It might be under Watcher actually. So let me just tentatively put it there, because in a very even older than this version, this like even before version 0.3, I think it was in like version 0.1, there was a class called the Macromancer, and the Macromancer was a venture that would go around reviving dead robots and like machines, because obviously it's a post-apocalyptic world, so it's like you find a bunch of broken dead machines and robots all around the area. So the Macromancer was supposed to be a venture that could raise robots and invent stuff and command them to do stuff. So it's sort of an inventor artificer class, but with also a kind of a magic necromancy flavor to it as well. So that's probably going to be the 8th Watcher class. So obviously this is all filled out, so the rest I mean, we don't need 8 for all of them, but the total we have right now, 6, 12, 20? Yeah, 20 planned ventures. And I'm rather surprised at how few strikers there are actually. Because this is ironically like the opposite problem that like, let's say Overwatch has, because Overwatch has like too many DPS classes, but here's quite the opposite. I think it's because a lot of the classes are quite versatile. They can do like a lot of different things that including damage, that having a class is purely based on damage is quite rare. But what, I mean, let me ask you, chat, like what possible ideas for like strikers do you think we can work with? You know, purely DPS. So we have, you know, the assassin, which is like a rogue, the arms master, which is basically like the samurai, and the gun drifter, which is a gunslinger class. What are we normally missing in this sort of lineup? Maybe a gladiator type, perhaps. I'm not too sure on it yet. Let me, because based on what I know, I don't think I have any more old class ideas lying around. So, you know, all the old class ideas were like the Necromancer and the Scarred Krieger and the Shard Strider. I don't think there was any more ideas I had for like strikers in particular. A monk, huh? Yeah, Elementor has elements of monk. They have like hand-to-hand combat, but I was good. Yeah, thanks Pedal. A monk class was in fact one of the planned things, because it did overlap with Elementor, because Elementor is obviously based on like benders from Avatar, but someone that's just purely focused on like martial arts is a lacking niche. So I think we will do that. So let me add that right real quick. So ST names, where is the Valiant? No, we need the strikers. So D, Voltage, no. Striker names, what the henshin? Okay, yeah, I remember now. I did have some very few notes for the monk class, and it was called the ascetic. I don't know how you pronounce it. Basically like a wandering warrior type. And this could include, yeah, it is like the monk class essentially. So you can use hand-to-hand combat, or you could use other martial weapons like spears and such. That was the idea behind that. That's not correct. What is this? This is an empty layer. Wait, no. Oh, because of the... I'm not... Oh no, wait, this is the white layer. What am I doing? I'm going to do the shadow. Yeah, the ascetic, I don't know how you pronounce it. The monk class. Let's see. Hand-to-hand, there uses prosthetic and enhancements. I would probably leave that more to the players' discretion, because obviously Voyager, part of what makes it different is that Voyager does not have like weapons per se. Your weapon is just sort of whatever you think would look cool on your character, and you just have them use that weapon. So there's no actual like gear or weapon stats or armor or stuff like that. So if you want your character to have prosthetics as a monk, you can already just create them to have it in the first place. So I don't think they will have, so it would just be under the aesthetic venture if that were the case. What else is there we can use? I think we are probably lacking like a swashbuckler, fencer, duelist type of character. There's some elements of it with the Gamblade, but the Gamblade is sort of a different beast altogether. So maybe a fencer duelist type who specializes in specifically one-to-one combat. We can just workshop that. Of course, it's all subject to change, but having the idea around so we can remember to touch on it later would help. So let's call it the duelist. And what else? If I'm just gonna think about like classic, let's say D&D style classes, let me actually pull it up real quick. So because that's obviously most people play D&D, so if someone comes from D&D and enters into this game, obviously they would have certain expectations. They would have, they're gonna wonder, what classes can I play that are the closest equivalent in this game? So if I go and look up what are like the major D&D classes, so obviously let me just connect the classes with the music, because obviously there's like the most famous ones. You know what? Looking at it, we are lacking a druid type venture, actually, like nature magic, and that was something I wanted to add in. Where would I put that though? A druid venture would be very cool to have, but I wouldn't not. We are already chock full of watchers already, so we need to like think about how that playstyle would work. Unless a Necromancer could be changed into a Valiant, I could definitely see them being that. Yeah, let me before I forget, before I look at the D&D stuff, let me just quickly move over Necromancer to Valiant. Let's see. In fact, I might be able to move. If there's no space under the Watchers, I might move Exorcer to Valiant as well, though I think they're still under the Watcher umbrella. I'm getting lost in all of these folders. Okay, here they are. That is the Vanguard one. That is wrong. G. Let's just, screw it. Let's just enable all of them so I don't have to do it later. Alright, so let's just enable all the shadows. So I'm tired of doing all this. Alright. So for let's for now Tentatively, let's move the Necromancer under Valiant. So, okay, make a duplicate of the Henshin. So let's say the Necromancer goes here. So that would leave a space to have the Druid or Nature Mage or whatever you call it. We'll just call it Druid for now. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the classic D&D classes just to see whether we have like a workable equivalent. Obviously, you know, we don't want to it's not an obligatory thing because we're obviously doing our own thing here, not necessarily have it exactly like D&D, but having something that is sort of like an equivalent that new players can use would obviously be very useful for you know, new players to understand the game better using like a very familiar class. So Barbarian, that is the Scarred Krieger class with basically the Monster Hunter. So we have that. Bard is the Henshin, which is the Sentai Magical Girl class. Cleric, we do not technically have a oh no, we do have a Cleric. Cleric is Field Medic and technically War Sanguis, but the Field Medic is the Cleric class. Druid, we just added that here. Fighter, we have multiple fighters actually. We have the Arms Master and we have the Gamblade, so we're good on fighters. Monk, the Ascetic. Paladin is the Armiger, that's the Knight class. Ranger is the Shard Strider. Rogue is the Assassin. And it is lagging. Oh my god. No sudden moves. Okay. Let me just save that in case it screws up again. Sorcerer. Okay, so I think what's missing is sort of like the more granular mage classes. So in D&D they had like Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard, but kind of what is, because how D&D did it is they had like an actual spell list that that the mage classes would learn from. So there's like a certain spell that you could learn, and in a lot of cases the Wizard, the Sorcerer, and the Warlock would be able to learn that spell. But here our mage classes are based around certain types of existing playstyles already. So in the case of D&D, your Sorcerer, your Wizard, or your Warlock would be able to use elemental magic or other types of spells, but here it's sort of we have mages focus on elemancy and summoning, and this is sort of like an abjurer, a defensive mage. So in terms of mages, we really kind of have that covered, I think. Yeah, and even in terms of flavor, like Warlock is like a kind of eldritch being mage, which is Invoker. Wizard is like a more academic mage, which Logis I guess sort of counts. And Sorcerer is sort of like a more wild, volatile mage, which is Volaturge. So all the classic classes are here. Artificer is Necromancer. Blood Hunter is interesting. Blood Hunter is, we have a Blood Mage, but Blood Hunter in D&D is sort of like the Geralt of Rivia type class, or the Vampire Hunter, Van Helsing type class, or a Belmont class. We might be actually lacking that archetype. Given what those classes normally would be, they would be less of a striker and more of a valiant, I would expect, because the idea behind that kind of that flavor of monster hunter Belmont type warrior is that they normally have different tools to handle different types of monsters. So like Geralt, he has like a little bit of magic, a little bit of sword play, a little bit of, he can make potions and bombs. I think that's sort of the idea behind that, so I think that will make them more towards being a valiant than a striker. So we could also workshop that and put that in there just to remember it for later. Where is this? This is the Necromancer. So for the Shard Strider, where does this go? Original copy. No, this is the Gamblade. I am missing. Oh, it's this one. Shard Strider. So here, if we were to have an 8th Valiant Venture, it would probably be this. I'm not sure what to call them, but we'll just call them the. What should I call them? I'll call them, I guess, like a bounty hunter, I guess. It's sort of kind of like that. So, and once again, so we're kind of missing possible ideas. We're definitely missing a lot of strikers. Cavalry. Because the Henshin could foreseeably be a vanguard as well, because they can heal and do stuff, but the way I'm picturing them, they might be more valiant. A lot of these ventures will probably switch roles, because roles in itself is not like roles don't actually have like a mechanical bearing on the ventures. It's just more of a way of classifying them, but actually a lot of them sort of overlap with each other. It's just more to help you understand what they specialize in. So for striker, so I don't think there's any more like highly, actually no, now I remember. Volaturge was a striker class because they were DPS. They had the highest magical DPS, and they have basically very few abilities that actually affect the battlefield. So it's like a magic DPS. So actually, Volaturge would go under. Volaturge would go under striker actually. So that answers that question. So that's good. We cleared some spots for the Watchers. And now we have 6 possible striker ventures, which is a decent number, I think. It's not too few, I would say. So put the Volaturge there. And then I could probably move back the Necromancer into here, depending. Well, I'll leave it blank first. in case once I actually start working on the Macromancer and find out where it belongs. Other than that, well, 8 here, 8 here, then 6 here, 6 here. I think that's more than enough, really. So in terms of planned ventures, which obviously we can add and remove over time, because you know there's still version 0.5, but at least on paper we have 1 2 3 4 8 16 oh god, math, 16 22 28 ventures. That's actually quite a lot, really. But yeah, let me just, so I can just quickly insert all of their, let me just insert the quick descriptions so that I can actually put it into the rule book. So Volatilge is a volatile sorcerer. Let's see. Duelist is a single combatant. Shredder Blade Warrior, face the bullets. Summoner, Illusionist, Mind Manipulator, Druid is a nature. I'm just going to put whatever placeholder titles first. This would just be question mark. Winter Mage, Spirit Specialist, Adventure, Space Team Support. Cavalry, Scarred Krieger, Drakenot, Armiger, K was Sanguis, as a Warrior, Gamblade. The Gamblade is technically the Gladiator class. Let's see. Jetpack Soldier, Henshin is the trans. Idol. Ranger. Pet Ranger. Necromancer is the Machine Master. Then Bounty Hunter is the, how would I put this? Kind of a monster slayer? No. Supernatural slayer, I would say. Okay, so we have the descriptions. So now we're supposed to get rid of the background. Export it. Okay, this loading. Venture lineup page. Yeah. PNG, full size. Let that load. Let's not touch it in case something happens. That progress bar is moving incredibly slowly. Okay. Oh dear. That's incredibly slow. Well, so I think we will conclude the stream soon once I put this into the rule book and show you guys. Ready? Oh no, still loading. Probably all the tabs I've opened. Well, I close my tabs when I'm streaming at least. I only have like a few open, just enough to stream. So that's not the problem here for once. Okay, I think it's done. Let me switch to my screen, Scribus. Right. Okay, so let's head back to the back to the top. So where we want to go is to the top of the venture section, all the way up, too far, all the way here. Right, ventures. Okay, so page, insert, 2 pages after page. Alright. Let's zoom out, because this is going to take up the whole ass page. Image. Okay. Then venture lineup page. Okay. Preview settings. No. Update image to frame. And there we go. We have our page. So when we look at the venture section, let me just maximize this. No, it will not cooperate. Never mind. So when we enter the venture chapter, it will just give a brief description of what ventures are and how to read them, the roles, and then we get this nice little gallery of all the ventures and what to expect, so that the reader can look at them, get a feel for which one appeals to them, and get excited about reading the rest of the book. And I myself am very satisfied with how it looks here. This will definitely be in version 0.5 at least. It will be published there. Hey Atrox, welcome to the stream. We're just about to end, but we are now appreciating the fruits of our labor. So this is the screen for all the playable classes at the start of the chapter, and definitely it will look even better once we color everything and fill out the rest of the classes and balance them, of course. And I probably won't be drawing all of them, because I do intend to, at least by the time version 1.0 comes out, so it's not in the immediate future, so it could be very well many versions from now, but by the time 1.0 rolls around, I do want to commission other artists to draw art for the book in general, you know, so for like the factions, or for like the different sapiens, the races. I do want to commission artists for that, and also for the ventures. So I have a list of different artists that I'm keeping an eye out for. To approach, so that they can help draw characters for this world. So it's not just my art, but obviously safe to say that my art will be a large majority of the stuff in the book, but first I'll need to worry about coloring them first, because there's quite a lot of ventures that still need to be fully colored, but once they are, it will look really good. So thank you all for attending the stream. It was kind of, I guess, maybe a bit boring, just like looking through, I'm just like shifting layers and shit the whole time, but I will say that the end product is well worth it. So I'm not sure when is the next time I'll stream, because I'm in quite a bit of the productive Voyager mood lately. So if I end up streaming Voyager again tomorrow, I'll let you guys know. You know, as I usually do, I normally post it like an hour or so before on like wherever on my Discord servers normally. But if not, then it will pick up next week, and look forward to seeing this nice page on version 0.5. And I will see you all next time. Thank you for watching.